this image interested me. I don't know where it is. It could be in Victoria somewhere. I've caught a few trains or trams in Victoria, Melbourne. So maybe I'm wrong, by the way. Could be in New South Wales. Who knows? So I was interested in this image initially because it's a bird eye view, and we see this thing a lot with drones and stuff. But I just found interest in this area here. At first I was like, this really cool to see these people in orange, but I just found interest in this area here, and I thought, you know what, these two trains, or the train fronts, sort of stood out for me. These ones here, and I love the way that these sort of ended at the bottom and didn't really have like, any idea where they're going to, or started at least. But then I thought, you know what, all of this is kind of busy. It can both be cool, and it can both be distracting. And then I thought, it might be nice. And by the way, this was all in my head when I looked at the image. I didn't actually do this until now. I thought it might be nice to sort of balance this up half and half with train tracks, and the other half with sort of, the rest of the image and the cars and the people and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's quite cool. But I think what's going to be a really cool crop here is just this, to keep it just the train tracks, and having that in the third. Now I'm cropping a lot out of this image, which is not really suggested, but I want to do this just for the purpose of this exercise, just perhaps so that when you find yourself in this situation again, you can maybe look at it this way and photograph it in frame like that. Okay, so that actually looks quite cool, right? Balanced in the middle. That little bit there is irritating me, so I'm going to come in and crop that out. Same with that. I quite like that though, and there we're still kind of in the middle, and boom, I think that's quite a cool image. It interests me. If I look at it like that, I'm like, what is that? And that's always a good goal when you're creating imagery, to try and create images that will make the viewer stop and look for a while. What is that? Until they figure it out. That's what you want. You want people to look at your images for as long as possible. Yeah, look, I'm not going to make this black and white as much as I think that's cool, because I really like the green, sort of just how that pops. So I'm going to go with a color image. Again, I might stick with this sort of grungy, cloudy one, and but I'm going to bring down the temperature here. Not too much, and I'm going to push the shadows a little bit more, and just keep that one a real simple edit. But anyway, I think that's a cool image. So sorry for butchering your image so badly. Again, it's not advised to crop in this much to an image, because when we crop, we actually essentially are deleting pixels, which means we are removing quality, removing the image size. So you don't want to do that too much. Yeah, your pixel size already isn't that big. So yeah, look, we've cropped it down to less than half of that. So you got to be careful with that. But we can get away with it sometimes when you're submitting on social media or your Instagram or whatever, and people are looking at it on a 2 or 3 inch screen, then it's okay. Just don't print it at A1, otherwise it's not going to thank you. Alright, cool image. Let's move on to this one. Okay, I really like this image, and the reason why I liked it is because you got all this greenery and all this sort of natural environment with the river and so on. Yes, you got the phone lines and so on. They don't really stick out too much, but then you got this cool bridge. And I love the way the light just shines on it. I like your edit. It's cool, it's simple, you've brought out the details in the cloud, but what I'm going to suggest here is a black and white, just for the purpose of making that bridge stand out. I'm going to go with my black and white 1 preset again, because it's always my go-to. And then I'm going to push a little bit of the shadows out. I'm going to pull those highlights, and that's starting to look very grungy, and I love grungy stuff. I love grunge music as well, so maybe that's why. But I'm going to bring the grain down a little bit in this case, just because I think it's a little bit too much. Probably stick with that. Now, the problem that you have is that you might lose some sort of detail in the bricks and the highlights, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose the detail in the bricks, so I might just go play with the whites a little bit and bring that down. The other thing you can do is obviously bring exposure down, and now you're dealing with a bit of a darker image, but you can push shadows out, and boom, in sort of not even 1 minute I've edited it to the way that I that I would have this image. If I'm going to get really fussy here, I'll probably go in and edit out the phone lines. But you know, it's sometimes you have to turn a blind eye and just ignore these things. I love, the other reason, sorry, this is what I was going to say in the beginning. The other reason as well, not only that, is just I knew that the sheep would pop out a lot more in the landscape. I mean, they're there in the landscape in color, but they're really there in the landscape in black and white. So just those highlights pop out with the black and white. And obviously you've got that beautiful sky. Great capture, well done.